Hi there, Gemini. Welcome to this reading here for you for this time. Okay, let's have a look. I have got some cards already on my mat here, and I've got one that's already turned up because it fell out that way, so I've left it in. And it's from the Love Pack by Chuck Spezzano, and I'm doing a card reading today specifically around the energy of relationships, and that's partly because we've got Venus in retrograde in Leo. Okay, so it is very much about looking and highlighting the issues and the values that we have around our relationships, where we need to take charge, what our attitudes could be, and our actions. Followed by, I'm going to also got one single card here of the power of surrendering, the surrender deck. Okay, let's just go for it. So here I've got the card of bad attitude. So I feel like some of you, looking at this sort of picture, what I'm picking up is, you've been doing some healing and maybe having to get rid of some of your negative thinking and your bad attitude. Okay, now, bad attitude is different to negative thinking alone, because an attitude also can be one of arrogance as a form of protectiveness. Okay, like, not wanting any help from anybody. Perhaps you are afraid, so therefore you kind of tend to diss something before it even happens, because you basically have this attitude that nobody can treat you well, or in fact that everybody or every man or every woman is like this, that and the other, which I would consider that as a negative attitude. All right, since it's the first card in your reading, it could be the fact that you've come to this place now where you're recognizing that maybe what's been holding you back is the fact that you've been holding to these thoughts and belief systems that's had you in bad negative attitude. All right, I'm just going to adjust this camera slightly, and you basically will do very well to get rid of them. All right, let's have a look at the next card. Lovely. Okay, so we've got here the card of naughtiness. All right, so this is a card very much about being flirtatious, being playful, and just even having fun. So if you're in a partnership here, this is a really good one. Maybe you've got this negative attitude that you've been complaining a lot, maybe nagging a lot, or perhaps you feel like your partner is not there for you because they're always working, or maybe you feel like, it's always me who has to do everything, and maybe that is an element of the fact that you've not communicated your needs, and feel that your life is quite barren and the same old, which also creates some kind of negative attitude. Okay, now in partnerships there's two of you. It takes two to tango and two to dance. All right, so if one of you is not moving, then the dance becomes stagnant. All right, so if you see it as a metaphor, I feel that's really helpful, and it is really up to you to bring that sort of element of joy or connection together by either expressing yourself as well, instead of negatively doing so in actions, by banging things down or feeling that it's not, sometimes it's hard. I know. Perhaps you feel like, oh my God, I've always said this and it always happens. All right, and that really doesn't help. So maybe also what I feel is with some of you, it could be a trap of a regular feeling of negativity or bad attitude now has become the norm. So I'd start saying that if you catch yourself thinking negatively, I want you to put it into a mental bin like that, like a mental basket, and say, write it down, and let it go. So let go of whatever negative attitude you might have, because what it will do, it will bring you to this sense of playfulness, this sense of freedom, and to bring this back not only in your relationship, but if some of you are early stages of dating, courtship, or meeting somebody, and even with friends, with yourself, bring a element of being naughty, having fun, doing things that's normally off the beaten track for yourself, but engages a sense of laughter, a sense of difference, maybe also just enjoying yourself, taking yourself out, maybe taking a day off work and calling in sick. That's naughty, right? Or taking a day off and you think, I'm supposed to be working. So what? It's not the end of the world. And sometimes you really need to do that, to play truant, because you maybe need to bring a bit back of yourself back. Maybe you do things, maybe I'm getting some of you maybe doing the same things over and over again in the bedroom, it's become really normal, whatever, and it's just become, this sort of I don't know, this might be speak to the odd person that you're recognizing that it's all the same stale. I mean, if you look at the background in this first purple card, there's this element of just stagnation, and there's no life, right? Oops, that one. You know, and it's easy to accrue a sense of bad negativity or attitude, or sort of saying, oh yeah, well, we never have fun in the bedroom anymore, or whatever. Spice it up. Bring a sense of naughtiness to it. Be playful. Do whatever it is that speaks to you, both or yourself, and bring that in, okay? Because we are in charge of our own happiness and our joy. So Geminis, let's have a look, okay? Yeah, so they are, you know, the next card is playfulness. So, you know, this is what I mean. Go out and play. Go out to the fairground, in fact. You know, be as adults. Go on the children's ride. You know, if you don't have any kids, you know, take yourself there anyway and be childlike. Go on these rides that you normally would take a child to, you know, or maybe you've forgotten to do that. Go, you know, definitely go to a fairground. I mean, it's that time of the year in the summer, you know, especially in August. You know, here in London, we've got a big festival, the Notting Hill Festival. Do things that make you feel that you can enjoy and play. Okay, it'll be different for everyone. Some of you might want to sort of cross-dress. Some of you actually might want to just dress up. You know, maybe you've forgotten how to dress up properly and wear some nice clothes. Again, be playful. You know, maybe put some earrings on that you've not done for ages. Whatever that is. But that will definitely knock the bad attitude out of its stalemate. And in fact, bad attitudes come from the sense of something being stagnant and stale, and we've got stuck. Okay, it's a stuckness, all right? And then it becomes a perpetuating belief or an action, and it becomes a bad attitude. Okay, nothing good ever happens to me is a bad attitude. Now, Geminis, wow, you really have some beautiful, beautiful cards here. You know, we've got three very vibrant cards. We started off with the naughtiness, we've got the play card, and now we've got the erotic card. So again, really, I mean, I didn't even look at these cards, right? And I was talking about some bedroom things here. So I really feel that this is definitely going to be speaking to some of you out there. You know, get in the erotic zone. Maybe look at an erotic film, or what would be erotic for you. I mean, again, everyone's got a different definition of being erotic. All right, I mean, this has got Tarzan woman and Tarzan man, whatever. You know, Jane, I guess, in Tarzan. For those who know, you know, if you're old enough to know Tarzan. But anyway, this is about being erotic, allowing your eroticness to come out to play. All right, play again, to come out to play. Maybe do some play, you know, sort of, speak dirty, or, do some, playfulness, right? Even by going out to play, you will actually feel the joys and kind of, what's that called? Cultivate on the sense of erotic. It's when we get into a rut. Maybe some of you noticed that your relationships have become that. So the erotic here, it says, is both entrancing and enchanting. And I really do love that word, enchanting. I was thinking about that word the other day, actually. With sizzling energy and beauty that melt us. The erotic is the excitement that comes from the attraction which accompanies feeling of love and desire. It is the aspect of Aphrodite and Adonis emerging within us, setting the energy fields alight. All right, so it is definitely a time for you to have fun and enjoy yourself. Let life tickle your fancy and carry you along with the sexiness that energizes you. Okay, even put some good music on and get grooving. If you haven't done that kind of thing, thrust your hip and have a good time. And it's just really important. So really, Geminis, I'm going to leave you card reading here because it's really self-explanatory. I mean, you've got 3 cards or 2 cards that really lead to this. And if you're not feeling sexed up about life or excited about life or really kind of wanting to, hang from the chandeliers, if you like, or from the, from the ropes of life, do something that's really going to make you feel that way. I feel with some of you as well, what I'm picking up is maybe going on holiday that's quite unusual, quite unique. Maybe in a jungle somewhere, maybe some of you want to try some ayahuasca or do some kind of jungle plants, whatever, maybe coming back to yourself, do something that maybe that would be frowned upon, in a good way, of course, nothing negative like you're robbing a bank or whatever, but what I'm saying in a good way that maybe people might disapprove of, saying, oh, you can't do that, that's a waste of money, or what are you doing that for? If that's going to rock your boat, go and do it. All right, Gemini, I really reckon that this is time for you now to do some healing. Some of you at the back of the card here have got, maybe you have been suffering and your attitude has come from some kind of betrayal about somebody, but this is about you now getting back into your frou-frou and she whatever, and then get out there and start attracting some love partner as well. Okay, so there is this come hither, and again, once you get into that playfulness, dress up, and feel good. If you're a man, just put your cologne on and a nice shirt on or whatever it is, and start looking out, and attract something. You're only as attractive as you feel and put out. All right. And what you will end up beautifully is, despite the fact that you might felt that there was some drought and nothing happening, which is also part of the negative attitude, I feel that you're actually going to attract somebody who can actually also be that person of beautiful kindness and tenderness. So really, Geminis, I think that the things are really looking up for you guys. I mean, I was just saying a little of a peek here at the bottom of the deck, which is also, for me, kind of consolidating the cards on this map. But let's have a look at what Surrender deck has for you. Okay, so some of you, okay, maybe this will be with a bad attitude as well. Maybe kind of going round and round and round. I might actually choose another one for you guys. I think, like I said, there was some kind of fear, right? Maybe you did get betrayed. Okay, so this is going to speak to one or two of you. I mean, maybe several of you. But what I'm saying is, it's not for everyone who could be tuning into this. But if you are, there could be this message for you. And I did mention betrayal earlier on, okay? So this is surrender to obsessive thinking. So I feel like some of you, yes, perhaps you had an indiscretion situation that happened and has hurt you, which has caused this bad attitude, okay? But the obsessive thinking also creates the bad attitude. So you really want to think about how and what you're doing to yourself. Because in some way, like this poison apple, it's eating you up. Okay, when we have this obsessive thinking, anything, it's eating us up literally. It occupies our thoughts night and day. Or every time you sort of suddenly have a moment, you start remembering it, okay? It says, if you're obsessing about a person or a situation, and this could be also if you're crushing on somebody and you're actually just constantly thinking about them, right? Turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help bring you clarity or even solve the problem. Okay, so this was, again, just speak to a certain few of you. Again, if you're really thinking about something, it could be a job you really want as well. Like you're just thinking, oh, I've got to get this job, or I've got to get this guy, or I've got to get that woman, or so-and-so did this to me, and how dare they, what are they doing? Sometimes to break that sort of energy, again, go out and play, bring some fun into your life, even if it feels contrary to what you actually really feel like. Okay, it will bring you, because I do think that some of you definitely needed some healing and betrayal, because the top card of the bottom of the deck actually was the healing card, followed behind it was the betrayal card, which for me will make total sense as well to get this obsessive thinking, because I would imagine that when you get betrayed and you become the other person, as in your partner's having the indiscretion, you will be thinking about either the other person or just obsessing about why and how has this happened, etc, etc, etc. Okay, and it can eat you up. But really, if somebody's doing that to you, as hard as it is, feel your feelings, but I would really heal them and just trust that maybe it's happened for you to wake up to a situation, maybe even know what your values are. Perhaps you'd forgiven somebody once too often and now they're doing it again and again, and you keep on experiencing the same old betrayal. Again, it's going to be different for everybody, but whatever it is, do not overthink about it and ask, surrender it and say, God, please help me to move these feelings away from my heart, or this constant thinking. Help me heal my broken heart, okay, and be open to another possibility or new love. All right, because we certainly can't move on to something else bigger and better if we are actually obsessively thinking about somebody else, that's for sure, because you're going to take that negativity with you in any relationship. And if you wonder why that's not worked out, it's because that's what you've done. Or essentially you've not really healed yourself, and that's really not going to help either, and you're going to expect the other person to heal your heart. Relationships sometimes do get together and it naturally does the healing, but it should never be the agenda. All right, so like you're escaping into somebody else's arms so you can be healed and feel better about yourself is not, in my view, the way to go about things. But anyway, I am going to leave the card readings here, and you had a chakra card that fell out, which I didn't see yet, but it's fallen out and I've decided to keep it here. And you actually have the card of flexibility, which is interesting. Okay, so for some of you, I feel like, you know, this card, for some reason, another sign got this. I think it was the first card sign I did, and I think it was, did we open the spread with Pisces this time of the reading? I think it was Pisces. They got flexibility. What I will say about this particular flexibility card, I think, is because they're thunder, it reminds me of the Tower card. If you can see all the thunderstorm and the cracks through the imagery there. Okay, so it could be something has happened, all right? Okay, and it's made you feel like obviously really disorientated. And again, I love this posture here because, of course, this is the tree pose in yoga. Okay, it's a very balancing pose, and you cannot do this pose if you're actually feeling shaky on the ground, all right? You'd be toppling all over the place and wouldn't even be able to hold that posture. So also, if you're overthinking things, you're not going to be grounded, all right? So, you know, I would say just stay flexible with whatever's happening. This could also not be related to a relationship whatsoever, or any some sort of kind of betrayal, but also a situation where you feel that you've been hard done by, or a situation that's not rocked you off a bit. Okay, we do have Uranus squaring Leo, I believe, or it's squaring Taurus, and obviously we've got the planet of Venus, again, without getting too technical, in Leo, which could also bring up certain issues or certain situations, depending on where it falls in your life, that could have also have created a situation that you feel very, it's like a tower moment. Okay, so if you know, you guys know the Tower card in the tarot, I feel that that is like some news. If that has happened, I do suggest, again, you know, just honor your feelings, you know, be with your heart, but do take yourself out into nature, do something that's fun and joyous, and release any fear that you might have surrounding the situation as well. Okay, because sometimes at the bottom of this deck, interesting, it is fear. Stay in the moment and focus on solutions and celebrate every baby step forward. So again, for you, so for some of you, it really could be that. And if you look at the colors there, there's very much a lot of orange card there as well. All right, so this is really much about feeling in your sort of central core, not quite your solar plexus, but being honest about what you feel. Okay, do not stuff your feelings down, feel them and then release them. All right, and just stay in the moment. Okay, because when we get too far ahead of ourselves, that's when we create a lot of fear, like, oh my God, what's going to happen, or how am I going to do this, or how am I going to organize that, and where's that money going to come from, or whatever it is. Okay, and if some of you are feeling that way, I do recommend just having fun a bit. Go and maybe exercise outside and have fun with that. Go to your favorite bodywork class, go to a dance class, do whatever it takes for you to feel good. And to get yourself back into yourself and into your kind of erotic, sexy self. Okay, because there's nothing more sexier than a person who loves themselves in a non-egotistical way, but in a way that is playful and filled with vibrancy. So I'm going to move on to the Whispers of Love deck, which is another bonus kind of card. Okay, one thing I did actually pull for you guys, which I've got here, is My Life Works Beautifully, which was the Louise Hay deck, and I just decided to pull one out randomly for you guys, Gemini, so I'm going to offer it to you as well, because some of you could be actually in a situation right now, uncertain about what's going on, what's happened, and you've just got to trust by saying to yourself, my life works beautifully. And that's when you really trust and surrender life, God, okay, or on high, or you know, whatever you want to call it, source, great mystery. Because it says here, everything in my life works now and forevermore. Okay, and I will add, even if it doesn't seem so, it is working for me. And sometimes it just helps that no matter what, my life is working for me. So that is something, Geminis, that could really help you at the moment. Perhaps some of you could be struggling with some really bad ill health as well. And you've had, you're having to be very flexible with your routines in your day, and what is happening, and even despite the difficulty, and even like, I feel like looking at this, for some of you, it could be like a shamanic test, we get tested out sometimes so far and so pushed, and yet it is to make a kind of heroine and a hero of your own life, because it is only through how we engage in things like that. And no matter what, we can only take one step at a time and baby steps forward as well. So stay in the moment and just trust that even if it doesn't seem so, that somehow through the irony or the bittersweetness of life, that our life is working for us. So here is this other card that I just pulled for you randomly. And you guys have got new love. So like I said, you do have, I think some of you are definitely going to get some kind of new love. It says, embrace an opportunity for love in your work, prospects, or spiritual growth. Okay. And I was kind of saying that really with this, wasn't I? Life does happen for us in a way that serves us. And no matter how hard, I do feel picking up that some of you have really been going through it, like a shamanic test here. Okay. And it's had to have you really flexible and poised. And sometimes you do feel angry, yes, and you do feel like you want to roar, and then you do that. Go out into some kind of field and go rah, and just give yourself a really good shakedown, or just really dance and shake it all out, okay? But just trust that it's happening for you to actually be led to something more in yourself, okay? Because when we overcome these massive challenges, sometimes what it does is and we come through the other side, we feel an incredible sense of love for life again, and a sense of connection with the divine and just life itself. So embrace an opportunity for love in your work prospects or for spiritual growth. I do feel for some of you as well, if you see, look what's happening, that the star is practically being landed in her palms of her hand. So for some of you, there could be some incredible gifting here that's going to be coming in for you. So pay attention to what could be coming in for you guys, Gemini, because I do feel something very special, and it even could be some wonderful healing that could be coming in. Okay, so even if your mantra or your prayer is, I now embrace, like the optimum healing for this situation that I'm in, and just trust that you're given the tools, the people and inspiration, whatever it is, to help you to sort of transcend yourself into a situation, and accept and really feel the love of for yourself and your life wherever you are. All right, Geminis, thank you for listening. I'm going to end your reading here. I wish you lots of love, and I will catch you in my next video. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Bye.